Maybe that's what I should call it. The Abandoned Murderous Family's House. That's so long. I'll come up with something shorter. Hey there cubbies, my name is Krista and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I love doing all things Sims related and I like to add a little fun fact into my intros. That way, if you don't enjoy the rest of my video, at least you can say that you learned something. So today's fun fact is if you have ever watched The Lion King, just know it's all lies, okay? They didn't actually use a lion's roar for the roars in the movie. It was a tiger, which I'm upset about. And then on top of that, because that's not even the worst part, lions are actually bullies in real life. Like, they bully cheetahs. So if you guys didn't know that and you're now learning about this, then you're just as upset as I am that lions are actually bullies. They're not even cool like we thought. But anyways, today I have a speed build for you. I did a shell challenge. Miss Hip Hip Renee come out with a cute little shell challenge and I was like, all right, I'll do it. So I'm just going to explain everything that's happening. Right now, my roofing skills are 0. They get better eventually as time goes on. Or as actually, okay, so what happens is I am neglectful. When I record speed builds, because I don't do it very often, I forget to record when I'm building. So there are a couple instances where there will be large amounts of change in just like a second, and that was me forgetting to record. And I actually even forgot to record a part that I was actually hoping I would record because it was such a good part. Like, see, this is a part where I forgot to record. But that was a good part, but that's not even the part I'm talking about. See how often I do that? That's a shame. That's shameful. I should be in trouble for this. I'm no good. Like, I'm trying really hard. And I even tried to do landscaping, which I don't do very often. I just wanted it to look like scary and dead because Hip Hip Renee specifically asked for Nothing Christmas. And I hear Nothing Christmas and I'm like, she wants something scary. She wants something that she likes, you know, because we all know Hip Hip Renee likes those spookier builds and stuff, right? So I went all out. I wanted this house to be as scary as I could make it, I think. Like, in my mind, I was thinking this is a house where a lot of murders took place. Very scary house. Evil. Because Hip Hip Renee has that series, A Brief History, where she combines her love of true crime as well as The Sims. And although this isn't actually anyone's house, in my mind, I was making up a serial killer to live here. I even added in a few little like fun things. It's like a family home for serial killers. It's not just one. They're a whole family. I wish, you know what? I want to make the family to live in this house because they're a bunch. They are a quite interesting bunch. I didn't give them any names because that makes them more mysterious. They are a scary family. I actually got a lot of my inspiration off of the build that Hip Hip Renee did for her Halloween collab, where she did the Firefly home. So you can see that there's a lot of like holes everywhere and stuff. That's because they've had shootouts there. It's intense. This is not the most appropriate video, by the way. None of this actually happens. It's just in The Sims. It's a game. They actually didn't even do any of that. I just decorated it to look like that. But that's like the story I had in my head for it. I was like, there was a lot of intense fights here. Probably make a really good movie if they would just do that. I actually didn't finish doing the outside of the house until I finished the inside of the house because I knew if I got too much done on the outside, it would get in the way of my decorating on the inside. And at first I realized, oh wow, Krista, this is a nice kitchen for, sorry, excuse Copper, it's the morning and he has a lot to say. I did accidentally make this kitchen a little bit too nice, but it wasn't my intention, and I do redeem myself when I really get into my decorating. Like, it's not this nice when it's all said and done. So if that makes any of this better. But I did really want it to I wanted the house to have a theme. And the theme was, I guess, being dirty. I don't know. I tried to make it pretty dirty, and I don't never really build things to look dirty. So that was definitely different for me. I did have a lot of fun with this build though, because I had to try so hard to make it look bad. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done that. Work especially hard in a build just to make it look dirty or nasty, I guess. I had a lot of fun playing with the water marks on the floor and stuff once I really figured out how that worked. At first I went overboard with the walls, and I know that. I even went back and took some of it away because I was like, that is too much. But it does make the kitchen look a lot less nice, which is important because the kitchen looked far too nice the way I had it. And I wasn't about to take away that really awesome decorating I did, so that was when I thought the living room was going to be right there. You know, when you first start building and you just think things are going to be somewhere. Oh, that's the room I was going to tell you guys about. So I put a little room under the stairs, and in my mind, this is where they keep someone that they're holding hostage, right? So it's hidden like a staircase type door, so no one knows that it's there. And that's where they keep a hostage. And, you know, sometimes they let them go, sometimes they don't, but you know what happens. It's a very creepy little room. It's just a bed, and there's a bookcase. You can entertain yourself at least. There's a creepy picture on the wall. I actually chose the creepiest pictures I could find for this build because I felt like that added so much more character in. I was like, I really never enjoy using these pictures. Some of them I do and some of them I don't, you know? And when I did the living room, I kind of decided that I wanted it to be a family home because I thought that would add an extra layer to the story, because it's not just an evil couple, it's an evil family, right? Like the Firefly family, except this is a little kid. It's a child doing these crimes. But we don't know exactly what the child has done because there is no child. It's just what I come up with for a family for this build. I had to put personality into it, so you have to come up with personalities, and then you have to but I don't know, I really enjoyed trying to make it look as creepy as possible. I never get to use some of these decorations, and so when I thought I wanted it to be creepy, I was like, well, these decorations will work really well for that, even though I don't really get to use them very often. That clown picture, that's not the only place I put it, but I had a lot of fun with that clown picture. I was like, this is cool. I never use it, ever. So this was my opportunity. This was my time to shine. Again, I go overboard on the walls in here too, because you can see that I really tried to make it look like it was once kind of a nice home, and then now it's just completely trashed, you know, so you can kind of see what it once was supposed to look like. And then I start adding in the wall holes and stuff like that, and scratches and all that. And I think that really adds to the build itself, because most of the time these houses just look really nice and beautiful, and they don't have any holes in the walls, and it's just not a mess, and it's terrible. No, I love a good, beautiful build. It was actually really hard for me to make it look bad. It took a lot of extra work to make it look bad. And then I didn't even realize until after a long time that none of those even cost any money. And I was like, oh, so that works really well. If you're a poor family, you can just make your house look really ugly for free. At least they don't charge for that though, you know, because that would make the house more expensive and you wouldn't be able to afford it. Ah, okay. See? Always thinking. But I don't know. I just had a lot of fun. But I went overboard. I did. And I'm so sorry that I continued to go. Later I did go back and take some of it off. And there is going to be a slideshow at the end that you can see the house and all the rooms. And you can see how they look in the finished product, because I'm sure there are things that I did without recording. At first, I kind of thought I wanted it to be a little girl's room, so I made the walls pink. But after I go through and try to decorate a little girl's room and I realize how difficult it is, I change my mind and it becomes a little boy. I don't know why, but I've been favoring doing boys' rooms over girls lately. And I'm not sure what that's about, but I actually really enjoy making a boys' room more than a girl's, because it's easy to make something look girly, you know? It takes a little bit more, like, I don't know, it's just a little bit harder to make things look like a boys' room, I guess. Like, they have the decorations and stuff, but up until recently, I didn't even know that stuff existed. So it was really fun to find a lot of this stuff that I didn't even know they had, and then throw those in. I did have a lot of fun with this room. This was like my favorite room to do. It took me a second to remember that the walls were pink and they needed to become blue because it was changing. Like, I tried to make it like a generic boys' room, if that makes sense. I guess that's lame, but I do add in like the scary details later because he is a part of the murderous part of the family. What's his name? I'm gonna name him after my sister's dog. His name is Clyde, and he is murderous. He is 10 years old, and he's on the hunt for blood. That sounds awful. I mean, obviously, this is just a joke, but like, I had to come up with a personality for everybody. The bathroom, I already knew what tub I was going to use before I even got into the bathroom, because I had found it when I was in the kitchen, and I was like, okay, that's going in the bathroom. That way they can't even take a bath or anything. Isn't that great? We'll just be really dirty, just like the house. Oh yeah, that's one of the lot traits, is like grody or whatever, the one that makes everything really dirty. And that bed came with Eco Lifestyle. It's like one of the beds you can find dumpster diving. And I was like, that would work perfectly in this build. And I didn't really like using anything too nice. I tried to find like the old, withered, not as good looking stuff for this. It has a lot of personality compared to some of the other stuff I've built, I feel like. I mean, I try to put personality into everything, but I feel like I put a lot of extra personality into this build. It was a really fun shell challenge. It was really hard for me to figure out how I wanted to do it at first, but once I like got going with it, I couldn't stop. I was electric. Not electric, but I had a lot of fun. I don't do a lot of shell challenges, and I think that I might actually start doing more because I had so much fun with this, and it was challenging, and that was part of the fun. I did want this little area to be like their computer space, because I feel like when I was growing up, we had like a computer space. It wasn't like that. It was really in the living room because we didn't have a lot of space, but they had the room for that. So I just threw that in there, and I tried to make it look kind of messy and everything, just to go with the general theme of the house. Something I found really frustrating is like, you can't always fit items into like placements on like surfaces, I guess, if that makes sense. Because on the desk, I could only put like the smallest items on it, and it was almost impossible to find stuff that was really small enough and didn't look stupid where it was. So that was fun. There was like a picture of a soccer team that nobody knows. That's cool. But those were the things that fit. And you know, like, when in doubt, you need to put tissues there, because tissues fit. I don't know. That's what I do when I'm doing clutter. When in doubt, I get some tissues, and I'm like, all right, tissues down. Now I can figure out what to do with the rest of the space. Because at least you know that that's something that would actually be in a house, and it would look more realistic. Because in most of the houses that I went to, like, or that I stayed in with my family, there was a box of tissues in every room. That was pretty standard. I don't know if people still do that. You would think with everything going on that people would definitely still do that. But I don't know. But you can see I'm adding in those details to make it look a lot more messy, a lot less nice. I wanted it to kind of look like it was, I feel like I said this, but it was once nice and now it's not. So I really just went crazy with my details. a little overboard for sure, but I definitely had fun with it. I don't feel like I do a lot of these kinds of builds, you know, like where I make everything look messier, because I don't think I do that very often. I think I've done it recently, I've done it a couple of times, but not to this extent where it's like holes everywhere, scratches on the walls, just like everything's falling apart. Like, I don't think I've actually gone this far, which was fun for me. It was a change, something different. So definitely enjoyed this. Huge shout out to Hibbit Brene for creating this shell. It was so fun, and I just can't wait to see what everyone else comes up with, because I hope theirs are a lot prettier. Just because I'm sure she's gonna want to see some pretty builds too, and not just like this abandoned murderous family's house. Maybe that's what I should call it, the abandoned murderous family's house. That's so long. I'll come up with something shorter. I'm gonna go ahead and upload it to the gallery after I finish recording, that way I can't forget. And then yeah, so if you want to download it, definitely do that. And also look up the hashtag and see if anyone else has like posted their thing for the backyard. Okay. Oh, for the shell challenge. Anyways, but for the backyard, what I decided to do is I was going to make it look like they had tried to bury a body, but they were kind of lazy, and it's rained a few times, so you can still see some of the bones, right? Scary. I added a lot of extra detail. I don't know if I was even recording when I added the extra details that I did, because I like put grass over and everything. There was a lot of items I was looking at that I had never even seen before in the game, and I was like, where did these come from? Oh, and then I also got the idea because I seen the broken down cars, and I was like, that would look really good with this build. So I just threw a couple in the front yard, and I had to go around the whole house and add like vines and holes and scratches and stuff, because I didn't want the front to look especially decorated and the rest of it to just be like nothing, you know. So I went all the way around this house, which I don't know if I even do every time. I feel like sometimes I neglect the rest and I just only do the front. So yay for growth. I'm doing better, or at least I feel like I'm doing better, and that's just like my opinion. I could be wrong. It happens. But I really did just have like the best time ever with this build. It was so fun, and I just hope that everyone enjoys it. If you do, let me know. Give me a comment and tell me what you thought of my shell. If you thought it was a little bit too scary, let me know. If you like the backstory behind it, let me know. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up, as well as subscribe to my channel. Also, hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified every time I come out with new content. Thank you so much for watching. Stick around for the rest of the slideshow, and ciao!